Hi, I'm Michael Elliott, President of Amherst College. Welcome to Between Two Mammoths. Today, with 50% more mammoths, we have 3 mammoths in Johnson Chapel. I'm here with Liam Archacki and Sam Spratford, who are the co-editors-in-chief of the venerable publication, The Amherst Student. Sam, Liam, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Maybe you could just start by telling me a little bit about how you got involved in the Student.
We both started here in the fall of 2020, which was a semester of really intense COVID shutdowns. And at least for me, I started news reporting in the spring because it was one of the only clubs that was still up and running during the pandemic. And I also just felt like it was a really good way for me to feel more integrated in the community at a time when everything was kind of isolated. Then I've been doing it ever since.
That's great.
Very similar to Sam, I also was looking for sort of a sense of community. I think there's an incredible cross-section of students who end up at the Amherst Student. I don't think there's any one type of person who works there. I think that there's a unifying factor, which is that there are people who are very passionate about campus life and contributing to campus life, but there's an incredible diversity of people that I don't think I would have met if I hadn't joined the Student. And also, I just wanted to practice my writing, and I thought, this is the premier publication on the Amherst campus.
So speaking of that publication, what do you think the big issues are that you're going to be covering, not just this semester, but you'll be editors-in-chief through the fall?
We did a lot of coverage on democratic engagement on campus, including but not limited to AAS, the student government.
Civic engagement and democracy are in a lot of students' minds these days. Many students are very involved in those matters, but I think there are other students who are less involved, and I think there's an interesting sort of play between those two groups. That's
fantastic. That's an issue about which I feel fairly passionate myself, so I'm looking forward to reading what you can tell me about how to improve that engagement on campus.
Yeah, for sure.
Sam, you've been involved in creating the podcast division at the Amherst Student. Not everybody knows out there that the Amherst Student has podcasts. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that evolution.
At the time when I joined the podcast section, it was very, very small. Only 1 or 2 shows, and I just joined as an audio editor because I felt like my skills would be useful there. And then over pretty much the academic year, 2021 to 2022, I really expanded this section. I started recruiting more podcasters who had ideas for their own shows and just kind of mentoring them and letting their show take on its own form. And so right now we have, I think, about 7 or 8 shows. Probably our most well-known podcast is called Terrace Irradiant, and that's sort of long-form journalism about questions that we should be asking ourselves about what the role of Amherst is, what the role of Amherst students are. And then we also have interview-style podcasts. We have movie reviews. There's a series focused on international students right now. So it's really staff-led. And whoever comes in, whatever ideas they have, I think the vision for this section is to help them make those a reality.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Are there other articles that you've written, either of you, that you particularly remember as being formative for you?
The article I wrote on sort of democracy at Amherst with our news editor, Leo Kamen, that one was a lot of fun. I think just because we got to talk to so many different members of the Amherst community. We got to talk to faculty and many different students who are all pursuing these different projects aimed at increasing democracy on campus and engagement with democracy on campus.
The Social Impact Careers podcast that I produced over the summer was really, really fun. It was right when the Loeb Center was starting their Social Impact Careers program, and I just talked to a bunch of really interesting alumni who went into that field. It was really gratifying experience, especially to hear people listen to it and enjoyed it.
Those are both terrific, both that article and that podcast, and they both speak to some of the same questions about how students are thinking about their engagement on campus and then how they're preparing for civic engagement after they graduate.
Yeah.
So I recommend everybody out there that you take a second, read and listen to all of that to learn about where students are now. It's a really valuable service that you both do. So obviously for both of you, the basement of Morrow is a really special spot on campus. What is one other spot on campus that's special for each of you?
The Valentine balcony, which we call Balcony, because when I first started here my freshman year, there were these Friday night weekly concerts that would happen on the balcony. So those spaces were really formative for me, I think, in terms of finding my community here. So yeah.
That's wonderful. Balcony.
I actually wrote a personal essay in the Student a little while back about how the Frost catacombs are my favorite study spot. And I think that's controversial because, it's pretty spooky down there. It's dead silent. There's no natural light. You can work on your essays and lose track of time and actually get work done. It's kind of comforting in a strange way.
Neither the Amherst Student nor Between Two Mammoths are afraid of controversy. So we'll end there. Thank you so much for being here. Between Two or Between Three Mammoths.
Thank you so much.